Hi, I am Mary Mazur, and this is Change Your Funk to Fun. Thank you today. Oh, I'm so excited. Today we were going to be talking about letting yourself step into your freedom. And how do you do that? How do you have true freedom and fun? And that is by having yourself come from your love, the love that you actually really are. I would love to invite into a beautiful guest today. So we're going to bring in a beautiful special being here on this planet who I love dearly. Her name is Alma Rivera, and she lives in South Africa. So Alma will be coming into the show in just a few moments. Here she is. There we go. Hello, Alma.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with Mary.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So thank you. So we'll share a little bit about each other here, and that what we both are certified PSYCH-K instructors. And we'll talk about what PSYCH-K is a little bit later in the show. But first, let's get to know each other a little more, or let everyone who's listening today get to know Alma a little more. So thank you, Alma, for coming. And you live in South Africa, huh?
Yes, I do. In the most beautiful part of the world, which is in the Western Cape. And
Mm.
everybody who's traveled the world, whenever they get here, they go, it just can't get better. So I'm so deeply blessed to be here.
Oh, thank you. Yes, and you're bringing your beautiful Cape area that you're with too. So excellent. Yeah. So let's talk about true freedom. And if you would be, it would be wonderful if you could share your story. How did PSYCH-K find you? And PSYCH-K is a beautiful tool to help us rewrite the programs in our subconscious mind so that we can live our optimal lives here, right? So yeah, if you'd love to share a bit about how did PSYCH-K find you? Because it is a beautiful, loving energy that finds you,
Yeah.
and with
It
your
was
freedom.
obviously predestined. I'd been struggling with a so-called incurable disease called myasthenia gravis for about 10 years. And got myself through meditation and stuff, at least to a point where I could go and study something at a very late age in my life. And there I heard about Bruce Lipton's book and read it. And the minute I came across Psyche at the end of his pages, I knew that I had to do it. So I did the best I could. And within 3 months, I'd cashed in everything I had and flew over to Denver, Colorado. And then did the basic and at that time the pro, which is now the masters, and the advanced over a period of 3 weeks. And within those 3 weeks, by the time I got home on the fourth week, I happened to be able to see my neurologist that day, right? But there's no such thing as coincidence. And he was just astounded. It was gone. So the freedom that I learned through this with Psyche was that there's no such thing as can't. There's
Mhm.
no such thing as I have this thing and it's got me. There's no such thing of even, because we all have our ups and downs, but even when I am at my lowest point, I have something that I can do. And, not feeling free is feeling helpless.
Yeah.
So Psyche empowered me in such a way that even when I cannot think of a single thing to do, I ask myself just one question. And the question is, well, what do you want to do instead? What do you want to be instead? What do you want instead? And then I
Mm.
just follow the Psyche process and I rewire my brain and my body, because the minute we've done that change, we change all the cells in our body, we change all the chemistry in our body, and within a couple of minutes, you really feel better. Now, that is freedom because we
Mm.
were infinite possibility. This is when infinite possibility is absolutely true and real.
Woo! Wow, 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 wow. And it actually happened for you with a major illness that we call illnesses, right? That from the medical profession, right, they would have no explanation for how you could have possibly let your body self heal itself by receiving the messages. I'm sure you got some messages or what it was here for you, and help you realize that you can change anything. And that if you don't like something, exactly, you can actually ask yourself what it is you'd rather have, right? Like, isn't that just amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that is, and I get that a lot of people might get a little upset or pissed off by just hearing that, especially if they've been trying things and doing things and then they don't get the results, because then they think, oh yeah, you just think Pollyanna, you just think, oh yeah, how about you just change whatever you want and then your life looks.
Well, the
Well,
point
guess what?
is
Yeah.
we know. And if we follow science, like many people do, or biology, the new science and the new biology is telling us that. And if you speak to doctors who are on a par and up to speed with what's going on, they will tell you that illnesses come from emotions and
Yes.
events that caused us to think differently. So, behind every illness, there is an emotion. And behind
Mm.
every emotion, there's a belief.
Mm.
So, it's not rocket science. It's
Right.
literally having the tool and the capacity and the want, obviously, to say, okay, fine, I'm going to learn this tool. I'm going to do this tool. And I am going to change what I can because it's proven scientifically and biologically. And
Mm.
actually, I've come across some really great research with quantum physics, which is,
Mm.
this is not just hoo ha, this is real stuff.
Mhm. Exactly, exactly. Thank you for this. And this is what's great about this show is that anyone listening to this, hopefully they're open-minded enough just to even ask questions or be curious about it. And that is everything. Is literally that courage window, that courage and that willingness window. You had the courage and the willingness to go learn a tool that can help you with healing your body. Right? Like how cool is that? Yeah. And we
Yeah.
are living in this time where there are many things that people can learn. We get that. Thank goodness there's lots of tools here. There's lots of ways. You just have to find the right one that works for you, right? The one that's perfect for you. I know PSYCH-K landed in with me back in 2010. My husband was sick. So what I did is I was a nurse at the time, helping moms have babies. And I was really programmed by my mom, especially to always think of everyone else, be very self-sacrificing. I did a great job of that. Put myself last, mother of four of my own, put everyone else first. Yeah, exhausting myself out, living in a bunch of stress, that's for sure. And then definitely not having that true happiness, freedom, living that I do now. So I went and learned PSYCH-K, similar to you, to help my husband heal, right, with leukemia. And he's doing very well, by the way. And it's his own journey, because that's what I've learned to step out of being an enabler. I was a great enabler, and learned that tool really well by my mom, too. My dad was a heavy drinker. So we learned things from the first 7 years of
Yeah.
our life, right? And the funny thing is when I went to go learn PSYCH-K, I didn't think I needed it. That's hilarious, right? I thought I was doing pretty good. Like what? What? Yeah, that's pretty nutty, right? Yeah, no, I'm just fine. Yeah. So, and the gift was is that I had to practice with myself, because at the time it was my husband, my current husband, that he wasn't ready for. It took him 3 years to be open to it. And he was only open a little bit. He really hasn't wanted much, because we all have our own, ways and timings of stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I began to work with myself, and then I was blown away. And the big gateway that did it for me is because I learned also to close off my heart and close off my emotions. My dad was a Marine, and I was taught to be like a Marine. I had 7 brothers, and it was like, oh, heck yeah. I was taught to be actually quite masculine here. It was a survival mechanism. My little feminine was like, come on, but I'm a girl. I'm a lady here. Yeah. Well, that's blossomed now. Thank goodness. But all the emotions and all the holy tamale stuff that came out of me, and for my own self, as far as my own health optimism, that I would call it, because I had psoriasis. So I had it all over my forehead and down here, and itchy, and all the sebaceous glands, right? And even funny is I even went to a doctor to see, well, maybe they could do something, because we're programmed to do that. You go to a doctor and then they do something for you, give you a pill or give you something. I didn't want to take pills, but I was just curious. And at the time, they didn't actually have medication for that, which is really cool. Now they actually do for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just said, well, how about I use the PSYCH-K, the tool that we have, see if I can go reprogram some programs of maybe the stress I was having. There was a lot of stress in my life, and my head was showing me it. That's for sure. And it was 3 PSYCH-K balance change processes that literally my body
Mm.
self-healed that psoriasis, that issue that I had on my scalp, and it has never returned. I'm like, well, I think I like this tool, right? So I used it for my eczema. Oh, heck yeah. There's a reason why my skin was doing it. There's a reason why our bodies do this. That's the amazing part. And then
It
when you can
just
actually,
listen.
what's that?
Our illnesses are just messages.
Exactly. And once we can recognize, well, and that's the issue too, is because many of us were taught, well, no, we just get old and our body breaks down, or there's something wrong with us, or blah, blah, blah. Those are all just made up. They're just made up. They're made up. And the gift when you can start changing those beliefs, and then you really know, no, your body is the perfect reflection of your love, of your divinity, of how you are vibrating, really. And then how are your emotions? How are your thoughts? Those are key pieces because it's going to be reflected in your body. Yeah, I had very close veins, and the left leg before I knew PSYCH-K, I did surgery on because that's what you do in this world. People do surgeries, right? And I get that, and we honor whatever path
Mm,
anyone takes because
yeah.
all tools can be helpful and beautiful if it's necessary or important or someone chooses that. We get to choose whatever experience we want. That was the choice I had. It was very painful surgery. And then with my right leg, I'm like, well, let me use some PSYCH-K to see if I can do it. Oh my goodness, especially with health and well-being, the workshop that we offer with that one too. Yeah, my whole body. You look at my legs and you would not know the difference. If I had surgery of one and the one I did with my own way to change within me the beliefs I had about myself and my world, I felt so overwhelmed. That's why my
Yeah.
varicose veins were all going out. Like, now this is pretty flippin' amazing, and we can tell very more and more. I lost my hearing in my right ear. I used to wear glasses. I don't have glasses anymore. My hearing's like 90% back. I love this. It's a game now for me. I'm like, okay, this is happening. What is
Yeah.
my body telling me? Thank you,
Yeah.
body, for telling me and talking to me. Right? Isn't this talk about freedom, like you say, and then and letting ourselves love in this way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's also, but it helps us. It opens us up. And I've seen, because I work with other people, and when we're teaching, people get a bit angry with me because they go, "Oh, I've got such an issue and such a problem," and I go, "Oh, fantastic!" And they go,
Yeah.
what do you mean? I go, but that's amazing because it means it's something that we can change. You can get better. And people really don't get it because we are taught that whatever happens to you happens to you, first of all, that we're all victims of circumstance. And thirdly, that you just can't change the inevitable. Well, the one thing I've learned, there's no such word as inevitable. There's no such thing as unchangeable. It just doesn't exist.
Yay! In your world. Well, how nice is that, right? I love
Yeah,
that. I love that. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, thank you for that. Well, yeah, and we do. And we do. And this is what's so sweet is to honor everybody where they are.
yeah,
Because everyone is vibrationally where we are. We're in our level of consciousness to where we are. Absolutely. And the gift, like we're going to be talking a lot more here and keep diving. We're going to dive in and we're going to undress this many more so that people can maybe help understand. That this is even possible for them, and I'd love to even loop into, because we talked about health, but I'd love to do about relationships because that's a huge one for me that I'm going through right now. Right? Yeah. Oh heck yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people on this planet too. So we'll bring that in, and then we can bring thing about finances because that's another really big one for people too.
a huge one.
And
And that's something I can talk a lot about because I've been an
okay, good,
entrepreneur
good.
whole life and I've
Oh
had to do most of it myself. So actually, I just recorded something where I spoke about how lonely it is to be an entrepreneur.
wow, sure, sure. Oh yeah, I mean you're definitely out there leading. You're out there taking the risk, which is great because great. Risks are absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Well, hey, we're going to be taking a short break here. And when we come back, let's dive in. Let's dive in about the finances. Does that sound good? Of how we can really be free with that. We will tie in love, absolutely, because love's an important piece. Absolutely. But we'll come back shortly. On this episode, we're talking about true freedom and allowing yourself to live from your heart center, from your love. And we actually are helping you understand that PSYCH-K is the tool that is one of the most powerful ways to help you do this. I have a beautiful guest, Alma Rivera, who is here with me, and we will continue on. We just talked about your health, how you can use PSYCH-K for your health, and now we will dive in a little bit more about finances and relationships, and then we're going to drop in about dreams near the last piece of the show. So welcome back, Elma. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So how
You
did Psyche help you with finances? Yes.
Well, I think what I'd rather talk about is how psychic can help others with their finances. And I'll
Oh,
tell you why.
perfect. Sure.
Yeah, because what I've learned is, that we have lots of beliefs around money. And the first thing I normally ask people when they come to me for work is, what have you heard about money? What are the first things you've heard about money? And that's easy, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is the root of all evil. You've got to work hard to get money. Money comes and money goes. There's just never enough. So if any of our listeners and watchers have heard that and you are struggling with finances, it is almost inevitable. I shouldn't use that word even. It's absolutely possible that you have beliefs around money. Normally when I say to people, well, what do you believe about money? They go, oh, I believe money is the most beautiful thing on earth and it's good for me. And I go, yeah, I know that's cognitive. But then we dig deeper. And, you know, money in general for people is to give them freedom, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So money is all about freedom so that I can do what I want, when I want, how I want. And
Mhm.
then we work ourselves into a standstill. And that is why I got sick, because I worked myself literally into a standstill. And I actually use those words all the time. I'm so
Wow.
tired. I'm working myself into a standstill. And I literally worked myself into a 10-year standstill, you know.
Wow.
So
Mm.
what I'm saying is, hear what you are saying. I even noticed my son, he's now 40, and I hear him, and he grew up with me. I hear him say, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And I grabbed him a couple of months ago and I said to him, where did you hear that?
Mm.
When you were small, where did you hear that? And he went, wow, I heard it from you. I said, yes. And do you remember I used to say I work myself into a standstill? And he went, whoa, yes, that is what you did. I said, guess what, my love? You're doing the same.
Mm.
That is how we can pick up what we believe and what money is all about, or what we do with anything, really, even with love.
Mhm.
So it is it is about truly finding out what we believe, right? So,
Mhm.
do we believe money is the root of all evil? Then you're never going to have money, because who wants to be associated with that type of energy, right? If you
Mhm.
believe that you've got to work so hard to get money, you're never going to be able to work hard enough to get it.
Yeah, yeah, no, very true. Well, and you brought up a really important point, and that's just level of awareness of being able to hear what you're saying and be or what other people are saying, right? Because and that's and if you're in that awareness, that is huge. It's absolutely super huge. A lot of times we can hear what other people say before we hear what we say. So even give this to your friends or family or ones that you love, is to say, hey, can we keep each other accountable here? Let me know if you hear something what I'm saying, and can we like almost like put it on the table, like can we like bring it here so that we can actually do something about it. And that's what you did with your son, right? When you heard him say I'm so tired, because you
Yeah.
brought that up, and then you even asked him those key questions. Where did you hear that from? Which is so huge. Yeah, I would get voices in my dad's head in my because I always saw him with like piles of bills, right? And the stress. It was more even just that. And like, oh my gosh, like there's just isn't enough money to pay all the bills, blah, blah, blah. And they raised 12 kids that way. That, yeah, totally. I know. I hear you. And the gift is that we get to, with Psyche, change those programs. The
Yeah.
lack, the scarcity, the things that we just embodied. It was just what we embodied in the 20th century. And we're in the
Yeah.
21st century now with all the beautiful changes that you literally can, by changing the beliefs within you, then begin to go see new ways. And it's literally happening with me right now. It's quite, and I went through just the last couple of months a bit more bits of lack and scarcity stuff. It was like, what the heck? Why is the bank account going so low? What is this? And I checked in with how I'm feeling. So it's the thoughts and the words are great to pick up. And also, how are you feeling about it? And it was the fear. It was scarcity. It was like, I didn't want to be homeless. I didn't want to, like, these crazy thoughts would come in, or just the fear of, oh my gosh, am I going to have enough to be able to make it on my own? Blah, blah, blah. We will get this stuff. And then once, if you do come to a workshop, you get to transform those perceptions, which I did for myself. And then I
Exactly.
and then I did ask, how do I want things to be instead? And then start really, really reprogramming and moving. And it's actually, and that money can actually come easily. And yes, we're going to share our gifts. We're not just going to lay on the couch and just have a whole bunch of money piled over us.
Yeah.
I mean, there is this is a giving and receiving. We naturally are meant to be givers and meant to be serving and sharing our gifts. And then the money just represents the value, the worthiness that I am of receiving it, and the worthy of the person who's actually giving it. So
Yeah.
there's other pieces here that is important for people to work within themselves, is their self-worth, the forgiveness
Absolutely.
of themselves and others, their unconditional love for themselves, that are also wrapped in money is just an exchange of
Yeah.
love. And we weren't taught that. I was taught that, oh, people with money are bad and blah blah blah. We got all kinds of goofy ideas.
Yeah.
But how about when you have a lot of wealth or money, or even just having enough, more than enough, that you can enjoy your life? So you don't have to just be in survival or just getting by. You actually get to flow. You get to live in this gorgeous, abundant world and live in abundance. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that money has got so many facets because it really surrounds itself, or what it is surrounded by, what you've just said, self-worth.
Right.
So if you don't have any self-worth, you will find it very hard to charge or to sell your products at their value. You will find it very hard to sell what you do for people at its true value.
Mm-hmm.
So if you consistently saying, I must put my prices up, but I'm not gonna, or whatever it is, that could be that you don't believe that what you give has value.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
almost as we work with Psyche and as we work with ourselves, we find a balance. And isn't it strange that the change processes we use, we call balances, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So we really find a balance between how we feel about ourselves, what we believe about the world, what we believe about money, what we believe about the love of money,
Mm-hmm.
and I meet so many people. I've met quite a few people that is so they were so scared that they're going to be bad when they
Mm-hmm.
have money,
Mm-hmm.
right? That we had to change their perceptions in such a way with a goal statement that if you want to be rich, what are you scared of? Then I'm going to be an asshole, or I'm going to be selfish, or I'm going to be, mean, or, all that stuff. And then I say, okay, so what do you want instead of those? And then
Mm-hmm.
we take those beautiful words, I'm generous and kind and compassionate, and I am rich beyond imagination, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you marry the two so that you can overcome all the beliefs that you have about yourself, others, and money.
Yay! I know. Isn't this beautiful? I know it is beautiful. And that's what I love. If people even hearing this, and if you are ready, we'll be talking near the end of how you can, yeah, come and learn Psyche in a workshop, and how you can even, or have private sessions if you want to either do those, right? Because it all comes down to is in your readiness, right? Are you tired of not having enough money? Are you tired of struggling? Or you
Yep,
do well, but then you lose it? Whatever those
yep,
patterns are, you're created by the beliefs you have within you. That's it.
yep,
It's okay. It just is
yep.
what it is. It's what you grew up with or whatever you experience. And the better part is that you get to change it, and you are this powerful. So thank you for that. And I'd also love to talk about relationships, because I know that's a big one for me right now. And I don't know if it is for you or anyone else listening. It always has been, though. So relationships, I know, it probably is one of the most important pieces for me here living. Is I love connection. I love connection, and I love to, like this. Even just talking with you today, Elma, is just lighting me up, right? And then knowing that we can talk with others, whoever's listening and sharing it, I can feel all of their energy too, of all the listeners, which is actually beautiful.
Yeah.
And we do choose to have very intimate personal relationships, right?
Hmm.
Like you say with your son, you have that beautiful dad. I have 3 daughters and a son, which is beautiful. So, yes, the psyche has helped me tremendously where I'm going through a massive transformation. I was married 31 years. I have a beautiful current husband, and he's amazing, hardworking, and that's what he learned. He learned he's doing exactly what his dad did until his dad passed, where he just works. He's very good at it. He's an engineer and he's excellent at it. He's very good. And he is. And I admire that he's a hard worker and he's loyal, very loyal to the family,
Yeah.
loves the family, very loyal.
Yeah.
But it's sad though when the missing piece is there isn't that deep connection. Okay. And what I didn't even realize is that as much as I wanted the deep connection, I wasn't stepping into it either because there's equal partners here. There's two of us, right? And I had too many fears. I had closed off my heart in lots of ways. So with the gift of Psyche, I've opened my heart, and now I'm choosing to be very open-hearted. I think it's freaking the crap out of him, right? Like, woo, what the heck is that about, right? Yeah, he's not so ready for that. I get that. And then we have moved where he's just choosing to stay and be where he is, where I want to like live in a whole completely different way of living and fly and go. And it's might be a little freaky for him. I get that. I'm giving myself permission that it's okay that I was taught that you stay with somebody until somebody dies. That's the religion thing, right? Like that just got
Yeah.
made up in religion. How about when the relationship is completed? We completed our relationship. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the experience. He's been a wonderful man. I feel I did my part to the best I could too. And it is okay when there's pieces to the lot. Like I let myself go. I let myself be free. I let myself to live independently and live in a whole different new way. We can literally have multiple lives living here now.
Yeah.
So it's exciting, and I'll be moving out in the middle of next month. My trailer opens. I'm going to be moving into a tiny home. I just want to live in simplicity in the woods. So yeah, I'm just living in a very different way than how I
Yeah.
did these last 31 years. So we get to do this. We get to choose what relationships do you want? I know for me, my relationship with my divinity, the love of who I am, that is everything. It's the most important.
Yeah.
And then my relationship with myself. And I wasn't taught that. I was taught to put myself last. So how fun is that?
Yeah, because we taught if you love yourself, that you're selfish and you're egotistical and you're going to be a brat and all of that stuff. I had somebody in my class and she said to me, she started crying when we started talking about how we feel about ourselves. And she said she remembers she was 3 years old and she stood in front of the mirror with a beautiful dress and she said to her mommy, Mommy, look at me. I'm absolutely beautiful. And her mother said to her, Don't you ever say that again. So, how many of us go through that? We come into this world and we are love and we are pure love, but we see how people interact with ourselves, whether it's parents or caregivers or aunts and aunties and, you know, uncles, and we see relationships. And from that we deduct, okay, that's how a relationship should be, or that's how a relationship should be. And then we attract that,
Mm-hmm.
we attract that. So, because it's what we believe. But I also believe that people come into our lives as our teachers. And
Mm-hmm.
people aren't teachers for your whole life. Some people are, but it's that reason, season, and lifetime story, right? You meet somebody for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And when you've learned and you've grown, I think unhappiness starts when you've done the job, but you decide to stay.
Yes, and this is what I'm changing. Heck yeah. And it's so beautiful and liberating. We do have to take a short break. Oh, we're so into this. When we come back, we'll talk a bit more on this, and then we're gonna move into how we can let ourselves dream. Sound great? This is Change Your Funk to Fun. I have a beautiful guest on here today, Elma Rivera from South Africa. Hello, Elma. She's also a psychic instructor like myself. We were just talking about, the influence big issues we have in our lives, uh, health, finances, relationships, and we are really diving in deep with the relationship one. That was so beautiful. And yeah, so let us bring the whole part about relationships back in to talk more about what because we can have a relationship with anything, right? And what we would
Yeah,
love to do is help people dive into their hearts, so we can bring in their
yeah.
relationship with our hearts. That is our true full essence, and then allow ourselves to dream. So, would you like to share how you feel about all this, Elma?
Well, first of all, I think we're all taught that we have to use our brain and our mind and not our heart. So that's what we've been taught. And when we close our heart and we use only our mind,
Mm,
that's when we get heart attacks. That's when we
mm,
get heart illnesses because we're literally closing off the very thing that is pumping life through our bodies. All right.
mm, mhm,
So I heard the most beautiful thing the other day. Somebody said to me, I read it, and then somebody, but a couple of days later, said, um, "Oh, I don't know how I can get from my head to my heart." And what I
mm.
actually read was the journey from your head to your heart is only a foot and a half long.
There you go.
So it's so important. And what I'm dealing with at the moment, my biggest relationship I'm dealing with and I'm exploring is my relationship with myself.
Mhm,
And um, I can measure the growth from seeing friends that I haven't seen for a while and how I react to how they talk about themselves. And then I remember, oh my word, I don't talk about myself anymore. To create a love relationship with yourself is most probably the most important relationship you will ever have.
mhm,
Because once you have that, and that comes physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you know, when you can be your own best lover, your own
mhm,
best friend, your own best spiritual being, when you have all of that, you're going to vibrate out into the field and you will attract that partner that is best for you. There was a
mhm,
time, for a long time, I've believed that my life partner is not on earth. I've believed he's off planet or it
mhm,
is off planet.
mhm,
And then I thought about it the other day and I thought, well, what do you want to believe? And I did actually, because, I'm doing so much in the spirit world and in various worlds, and you go, but I don't think people would want to be with me when I'm this weird or strange or crazy or whatever. So I did balance, and this is the change process. And the change, what I want is I want to believe that there are many men available on earth that fit my my profile, my vast profile. And I have
mm,
to say there are many men on earth that fits my vast profile because I could live with the belief that it's off planet. But do I
mhm,
want to? We're here as human beings to experience how to be human and how
mhm.
also to have relationships with others, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, and you're so right. Right for me, that intimate, loving relationship, especially with the opposite partner, is just magical beyond measure, right? Yeah, and then we go through the journeys, right? Because if people have had tough relationships or they've had it good, but then it has, like, even for mine was good, and then now it's ended. So I'm actually leaping into, like you're saying, that relationship with my own self and anchoring in my wholeness within myself, falling in love with me and letting myself be single. I haven't been single since I was 20, right? So say, woo, okay, world. And just, allow. And like you say, be so open to what is meant to come. I do love relationships. So I'm sure I will be in another one soon because I love it. I love it here. This is what I love doing. And it's funny because I know some people may have to take a while, right? When they leave one or end one and go to another, maybe they need years or whatever. My system is no, I think, especially with PSYCH-K, I clear stuff out. I got the lessons. I'm ready. I'm open hearted. Hey, let's roll again, which might freak my family out a bit. I get that. But gift comes in as I'm letting
So what?
myself be. Exactly. This is me. And if I like to do it in this way and it brings joy to me, this is
Yeah,
perfect. And it's perfect for me. So, right. I'm letting myself, I know, be open, and
yeah,
it's such a gift, such a gift.
yeah.
Oh, so dreaming. Let's bring in dreaming here. I know you were talking about that. Yes, and from our
Uh,
heart center. It's meant to come from our heart, not from our minds, right? There's a difference here. It's when it comes from your
So
heart.
we're living in a time, and especially from the 21st of March until today, was a special day where a portal opened where we could manifest our sovereignty. And
Woohoo.
apart from that, letting go of everything that doesn't serve us anymore. And also, we're going through a phase, and everybody knows the world is changing. And how the world is changing is we are literally creating a new, uh, a new earth, and we're creating heaven on earth. And people say, "Oh, but how are we going to do that? Because look at the finances, look at this, look at that, banks collapsing." And I go, "No, no, no, no. This is who we are. We are creators, and
Yes.
how we interact with the quantum field around us." Did you know that last year, three physicists won the Nobel Prize for physics because they discovered that quanta unobserved, in other words, if we don't interact with it, has infinite potential. But
Woohoo.
no, they then, what they won the Nobel Prize for was once observed, the infinite potential bit changes. Because
Hmm.
how we observe life around us, that we create that life. So if we come from a very negative place, we're going to observe it negatively, and we're going to create more negative. Okay,
Right.
so the whole idea also then with Psyche is to get back in balance where we are positive and we believe in love and we believe in peace and believe that all of this is possible. Now, how do
Mhm.
we dream this? Well, this is when we start to play. And
Hmm.
I I see it as literally we're going to be superhuman beings, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
We're going to develop, we're busy developing. Our DNA is changing, our cellular structures are changing. But how I dream is I become a child. And
Mm.
I visualize my house is built on a rock. Okay. So whatever I want to build, I have to grow, I have to bring in sand. So I'm dreaming. I'm going to stand outside and I go, today I'm feeling like a peach. I feel like having a peach. And I'm just going to go, bing. And there's the peach tree with beautiful peach. Or
Woo.
tomorrow, I think I'm going to go to Paris and have coffee on one of the cobblestone pavements and watch people go by. And then we can just go, boom, there we are. So I'm
Mm.
playing with what is, and I'm asking everybody, and I'm asking you now, what would be your ultimate heaven on earth? What would it
Oh,
be? And when
right.
you can see it, when you have a couple of minutes, or just before you go to bed, or when you go up, or when you're in the bath, when you're on the loo, dream because you got to sit there anyway.
Mhm. Exactly. Exactly. We call it toilets in Michigan in America. I love it. Let yourself
Just
dream and just
dream.
see what comes in and see what comes in, right? Just let yourself play and dream. Yeah, because what we're going to be experiencing is beyond what we could ever imagine. And we're going to be telling such great stories because we're going to tell what used to happen in the 20th century or when we were younger and then where it is now and what amazing superheroes we are, right? This is why the Marvel movies all came out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just get so
Ooh.
excited. I
Oh, I
actually
do
get
too.
goosebumps. I get
Ooh,
goosebumps.
and I love it. Well, because anything that's ever been created was always first created in the mind first, in our hearts, with our heart's desires. It's from our heart's desires of the,
Exactly.
ooh, what could that be? And then our mind comes and becomes a servant of our hearts of, ooh, how can we do it in a three-dimensional physical way here, right? Exactly. I'm actually getting timelines of I do plan to be here a long time. Like we actually with our crystalline DNA being activated now, those that are doing this and our Merkaba body, light bodies. That yes, we will be teleporting. We will be
Absolutely.
telepathically speaking with you. It's already happening. I'm already talking. The trees already talk with me, and oh, I just love it. The animals, we can just with each other with through our third eye. I mean, we have so many capabilities within our beautiful human vessel that we're
Yeah.
beginning to open up. So just begin to just be curious about it. And if you are even curious, you're going to find information. You'll be like, "Wow, my goodness, could I?" Because I want to help open a portal to the Pleiades. I'm Pleiadian home based in. That's my the star seed that I that love a lot come from. That yes, so let have that so we can eventually, right, we're going to be having more of the galactics here. This is going
Yeah,
big and far than what we could even imagine in this lifetime. So
exactly.
begin to dream, obviously dream. I want to travel, so I'm definitely going to be traveling a lot more and meeting beautiful people, and I plan to live on a with others in the community again, back into simplicity on the land of Mother Earth, and grow our own food, and share in the communities again in simplicity and love and beauty, sharing stories and laughing and playing and creating things just in beautiful, simple ways, because we can, right? So it's it's
Exactly.
it's just
Can I tell you a
magical,
dream?
magical. Yes,
Can I tell you
please.
a dream that became real? I don't know how much time we have, but in my younger days, as a single mom and a little baby, I had absolutely no money. We sometimes ate potatoes for weeks on end,
Mm,
etc. And then
mm,
come end of month, I was so nervous about having to pay things and whatever. And it was long before PSYCH-K, but I made a decision then. I was 26, 27, that I've decided I want to see my picture where I want to be one day. So whenever
mm,
I felt scared or nervous or anything like that, I tune in and I would visualize a place close to the sea where I'm growing my own organic vegetables, and I
mm.
have vast spaces where I can be with Gaia and walk barefoot and just sit on a veranda with my best friends and family, people I love dearly, and we can watch the sunsets. And that was when I was 26. And I started whenever I was in pain, whenever I was scared, whenever I was alone, I would dream that.
Mm.
And guess what?
You live
I
it now.
that.
Yay!
I
Thank
am living.
you. Oh, thank you, Elma. So, and you get helping people have permission for them to do it too, right? So, thank you, thank you, thank you. We do need to take another short break. I want to give a short quote here. Both optimists and pessimists contribute to society. The optimist invents the aeroplane. The pessimist, the parachute. This is from George Bernard Shaw. Be okay how you are. All are important here. We're just going to help up the game with optimism. Okay. We do need to take a short break, and when we come back, we will be capsulizing this so you can find out how you can learn Psyche easily and effectively for you. And we are welcoming here Alma Rivera from South Africa as our guest today. Hello, Alma. Welcome back with us today again. So we will be wrapping up here this last little bit to help people how they can find you, Alma, which will be important, how they can find me, and then where they can come learn Psyche in the amazing places across the world. So would you love to share where you'll be teaching next and where they can find you? Okay.
Yeah, sure. I teach mostly in South Africa, but I also teach in other countries. And the most exciting news is that I will be teaching at the Findhorn Institute, which is the most amazing spiritual community. It's been going on for 60 years in Scotland. And
Mm,
this is important. It is the first time where people publicly and openly connected with the elementals in order
mm,
to grow their food. And they
mm,
have become so well known
mm,
for that. And so Findhorn grew and grew, and they now have workshops that they offer. And I was invited to go and teach for the first time, and I
mm,
will be there from the 31st of August until the 5th, 31st of July until the 5th of August. And what we're doing is we're mixing things up a bit. So you're going to have your 3-day basic workshop that you can have wherever you go in the world. If you're looking for a basic workshop, you can find it wherever. We're just mixing it up a bit with an extra 3 days where you can then learn about Findhorn, and
mm,
I'm specifically going to guide a lot of meditations after the workshop on how to
mm,
connect with elementals, and and maybe inspire you to start growing your own food and
mm.
just to connect with nature again.
Oh, that sounds beautiful and heavenly. So thank you. And this is what we get to do to offer for people, right? Isn't this just so precious? I love it. So thank you, Elma, for that. How is the best way for them to reach you, Elma?
They can reach me on my website, www.almarivera.com, or they can email me Rivera Alma, like it's on my name here, Rivera Alma @gmail.com.
Oh, beautiful.
They can actually connect with Findorn and see what's there, and then they can book through them as well.
Oh, beautiful. So thank you. Thank you for offering that. Yay. And then I'll be teaching in America. So mostly in America. I'm actually going to be going to Israel too. And I'll talk about that in June. Yes, teaching in that. So if anyone is ready to jump, I'm having it in my home this weekend in Michigan. How about that? And you can go to my website, Ignite and Heal Your Life, life.com. So Ignite and Heal Your Life.com for that. So this weekend in my own home in Michigan, near Detroit. And then next week I'll be in Louisville, Kentucky, and I have a beautiful friend down there that's opened up his beautiful core Pilates studio, and he has a beautiful yoga room, and the whole area is beautiful. His whole town is gorgeous and beautiful. They have a portal. They have these 9 pillars of sisters that has a whole portal, which I'm amazed by, which is awesome. Yay! And I love it. In April, I'll be in Toronto, Canada, and then also in the mountains of Tennessee, the Knoxville, Tennessee, which is gorgeous mountains in the woods. So we're going to have it in a beautiful little cabin tucked in the woods, because same thing. I love Mother Nature and in the woods. So yeah, so anyone that's registering, yeah, they can check with that. In May, I'll be in Florida, so if people like to drop in Fort Lauderdale. So yes, they can check out either Alma or myself. So we have a last few minutes here just to recap again. So we brought the theme here of true freedom and fun come from love within you. And this is what the whole gift of what PSYCH-K does bring for us, is to remember who you are. You are love. You are light. This is what we are. We are unconditional love and light. And then we agreed to come in as these beautiful, innocent babies, and then embody all the beliefs from our parents and authority and teachers and influences our first 7 years of life, right? And then that typically for thousands of years is what people have been living from, is from those programs and those beliefs. In this lifetime, we get to change those programs. Oh, heck yes. And Psyche is one of the most powerful and simple tools to do that, so that you can literally, the heaven on earth is within you, and that you literally get to recreate the new earth here, of the new heaven on earth. And we'll have about 2 more minutes to talk, and then we'll need to end. Okay, thank
Say
you.
something. Every single person on earth in this moment chose to come to earth in this moment so that we
Mm-hmm.
could all experience and help and guide a new earth into being. And that is why every single person is here on this
Yeah.
earth today.
Well, thank you. And everyone is vital, and everyone is divine. Even the Joe Schmo, or even the guy that pisses you off, or blah blah blah. Like you say, they can be your best teachers. We all are playing amazing roles on this planet, and the gift is when you can shift into neutrality, right? When we can shift into just becoming an observer, and then choosing the love that we are. And this is what I've been working with greatly. We invite that for you. That is where the true freedom is, because once you do open up to the unconditional love and acceptance and knowingness that you're here to experience in the most precious way, things will become easier. You will begin to live in synchronicity, flow, and harmony, right?
Yeah.
And this is what
And,
we are calling.
and let go of judgment.
Yes, that's everything, because that's that conditioned love. That's that holding back from our heart. We're meant to blast our hearts open and to be fully who are. Take some risks. It's okay to take risks. It is. Absolutely. Take some risks in life. Oh, this was a beautiful time with you today, Alma. It's been such a gift. I give you a big hug. I love you so much. And we love everyone who's been listening today. And we will end now. I am Mary Mazur. You are on the Bold Brave TV network. And this is Change Your Funk to Fun. Aho.